going on, good people? I am the One Man Gang, and yo soy. Yo soy aquí con mi hermano.
He's been practicing Spanish. We're not allowed Spanish in this house for certain reasons. So, I'm saying mine in English. I'm the Vanilla Gorilla, a.k.a. Little Cam, Killer Cam.
We are the Gorilla Gang Podcast 3421. I have kind of an interesting podcast today.
It's just regular tea today, people.
Yeah, we're going to get into probably a couple things, but I believe we are going to start off with the newest sensation on Netflix, The Tiger King. Okay, if you haven't seen this show, there will be spoiler alerts. However, this is one of the most interesting things I think I've seen in a while. I don't know about you. How'd you feel?
I mean, it's a news story anyway, so it's not like it's a spoiler. Like all this has already happened. It happened. The trial was in 2019, so it's already been in the news. And regardless whether you finished it or not, just talking about it you could talk about it in general terms without like spoiling the whole thing. And
What's going on?
basically, it's about this guy Joe Exotic, that has a lot of tigers in like almost like a zoo. I wouldn't classify it as a zoo. He did at some point. I saw that there were other animals there.
I think they called it a zoo park.
Yeah, kind of like it's more like a big cat sanctuary type of place. And then they go and they have a couple other sanctuaries where they show the one dude, I can't remember. He got some weird. He calls
Tony Montana guy.
Nah, the dude that calls himself like the god.
Oh,
Bhagavan or some
Dr.
crazy.
Bhagavan.
Dr. Bhagavan, yeah. So
the womanizer.
Dr. Bhagavan, they got a guy that used to be a drug smuggler, and then they got this lady who's kind of like the antagonist to Joe Exotic, and she legit does the same thing as they do.
Hold on, let me because I saw you ask that question on Facebook. The thing that she was complaining about though is that he was breeding them for profit, and at the end it did look like he was actually doing that, because remember he was holding a little baby cub and he said this is about $5,000 right here.
True.
However,
But at the same time,
yeah,
she's still keeping cats in captivity.
Yes.
She's charging $200 a person to get into. So she's still doing the same thing, which is profiting off the animals. Right. So regardless whether you're profiting off the sale of them or you're profiting off of having people come see these animals in cages where, if you're an animal person, animals don't necessarily belong in a cage. Mandy's on here. If you have a dog and you keep the dog in a crate, you shouldn't have a dog. Like animals, the house is enough of a cage.
I will say I don't mind tigers being in cages though.
But if they were in the jungle where they belong, they would be fine.
Right.
I agree. They have to be in cages here because there's people. But if they were in the jungle where they belong, it wouldn't be an issue.
Right.
So yeah, basically she's doing the same thing. She's profiting off of these big cats and calling herself like a rescuer, and saying people shouldn't touch them or take pictures with them. Yet on her website, on her Instagram, she's got pictures. She's got cubs on there.
She appeared to be a little bit of a hypocrite and kind of a disgusting person.
That's one evil ass bitch, man. Yeah. She's evil.
So you definitely, and we'll mention it, I guess, in a minute here, but you definitely think she was guilty of it?
I definitely think. I don't think it's even a question. The guy. I won't do it.
Let's kind of talk about everybody, I guess, specifically, and then.
But I will say this, and this is the easiest way to say it. Okay. There's 3 people that, at the end of it, should be in jail, and they're not.
Okay, I got 2. I'm missing the third.
I would say Jeff,
partner?
the Bhagavan dude, and
Joe,
and the girl. No, that Carol lady, she needs to be locked up.
You think Bhagavan?
Yes.
I missed what he was doing.
They
said he. Okay, yeah. Okay. Well, just to give you a little bit about Joe Exotic, who seems to be the star of the documentary.
He's an enigmatic person. Personality.
Yeah, personality.
So yeah, go ahead. I mean, this is not a spoiler.
He's a redneck, and this is self-admittedly. I'm not calling him anything he didn't call himself. He's a redneck homosexual with a mullet. Now, don't have an issue with whatever his lifestyle is. That's his business. Yes,
polygamist.
Polygamist too. I forgot about that. So. Anybody with a mullet after the year 1990, I don't trust you.
But it's multicolored mullet. That's the thing.
It doesn't matter. I don't.
No. But I'm just saying. Okay. So he had.
Yeah.
So he had like blonde
was
the mullet part, but then the sides and the top were like blackish. And same with his mustache.
Black's probably his natural hair color, and he did blonde.
So he's married to. I don't know if you caught it, but this is in the first episode. The first husband said he started working there when he was like 16, 17.
Yeah.
So he was basically an underage boy. Yeah. And that's the guy that he married first. And he only had one tooth in his head.
He had like two.
He had one tooth in it. He had one tooth. Like, I was like, what?
He had one over there. It was hard to see.
Yo, when man. And then... I guess the head zookeeper, same thing. He had like his teeth were like.
Well, that's because he was targeting certain type of people. I don't know if you caught it later on. They had said he was paying them like $150 a week.
Yeah, so what he would do is find people that were, which is actually kind of noble, right? Like he's getting people that are out of jail, just getting out of jail that don't have any job, and otherwise probably wouldn't be able to find a job because they're felons or whatever. If he would have people report to him, oh, this person, I've seen this person at the bus stop. They've just been sitting there for the last 2 days. Like, so they like didn't have money. They were homeless, just laying. So it was a really shitty living. But it was their living space.
Right.
Like, it was terrible.
What about the meat truck, though?
Yeah, they had to eat expired meat off of a meat truck. Not terribly expired.
Remember later on, I didn't mean to cut you off. Later on, they started making pizza there, and they were asking the people who worked there, "Do you think the pizza's made from meat off the meat truck?" And they all were pretty much like, "Yeah, we do believe it was made from the meat truck." So was it noble? Yes, but
Josh,
it's also like, okay, I'm giving you a better life, but I'm not gonna completely treat you.
So here it is. I'm going to give you better than what you have, but it's not going to get any better than that.
Right.
That's the thing. Wherever they were, that's where they're going to be stuck at.
Now, he was nicer to his husbands because they said he would spoil them. And we'll get into the second husband later. I forgot we didn't go there. He would give them like guns and cars and stuff like that, according to him. So he was a little nicer to them. So it's almost like, in a sense, trading favors almost.
Yeah. So like with any, like, I don't want to say he had a cult. The other dude definitely has a cult. Joe Exotic. I don't think Joe had a cult, but obviously if you are sleeping with the cult leader, you have more perks than the person that's not.
I wouldn't say it was a cult, but it was definitely a certain type of, like I said, a certain type of individual.
Ashley said social distancing.
Yeah. Actually, with an individual that was, kind of hard on their luck. So it was more, you know what I mean? Like, it was the same group of people down on their luck. So he had some form of control over them because,
they didn't have anything else.
Right.
They didn't have anything to fall back on.
Yeah. So, yeah, Joe Exotic. Oh, and one of my favorite scenes was when the tiger had got real interested in his shoe. Mm-hmm. And kind of pulled him by his shoe. I don't even think the tiger was actually attacking him, which was beautiful because he starts hitting this tiger with a cane over the head, which is doing nothing to the tiger. And finally, he keeps a revolver on him, pulls out the revolver and shoots it, and all the cats get scared. And he starts walking off, and he's frustrated, obviously, and he told them to get back. But they kept following him, and at one point I thought they were actually going to jump
Stalking him, yeah.
And he told the one tiger, he's like, "I should shoot you right between the eyes." And it's almost like the tiger understood him. But I tell you what was amazing to me, that nobody in this whole documentary, regardless of them being, I don't know what you would call it, tiger line raisers or whatever, nobody seemed to be scared around these animals, which
Yes.
I could not fathom because I'm like, that's a tiger, that's a lion. You
Yeah,
know, these things could tear
regardless
you
whether
apart.
you raise them from babies or that don't matter.
They had a bear too. Remember,
Yes, they
the
did.
guy was, and the lions were coming over and pretty much hugging them and putting their cheek on their cheek. I mean, they really looked very
The
comfortable.
one dude was biting the fucking lion's bottom lip. If you go back and watch, he's biting and the lion's going. "Rrrr."
You know
I'm
what?
like,
One thing I found.
there was
very-
alligators at the park.
Yep. Oh, remember they took the picture with the alligator in the background. One thing I found very interesting was there was a guy that worked for Joe that had no legs. And the whole time I'm sitting there like, oh man, you know, a lion or a tiger. And he said, everybody think this comes from like a lion or tiger attack. It didn't. He was in some kind of falling accident or
Yeah,
whatever. You know, was he parachuting or
It
something?
was almost like bungee jumping.
Okay.
Line, what did he say? Skyline accident.
Oh,
So he
yes,
fell
yeah,
off a skyline and he landed on his feet, like blew up his internal organs. He didn't initially lose his legs. That was after a while.
Right.
Like
right.
it took
He
a while.
said,
Like he was in so much
walking-
pain. Yeah. So
Yeah.
he was, because he had to walk so many miles around the zoo. It just took its toll, and eventually they said he had to give up his legs. So
Yeah. And he actually seemed like one of the more decent people in the whole
he was.
documentary.
Yeah.
So moving on. Oh, Joe Exotic also, and this is kind of wild too. He had a second husband that came to the party. He was fairly young when he
too,
came
yep.
too, right?
Yep.
And he asked the kid. The
18.
kid was like, "I'm straight," and he said, "Well, do you watch porn?"
He said,
to the
"How
kid.
straight are you?"
No. That was at the very end.
Oh,
He asked
okay,
him,
yeah.
"Do you watch porn?" And the guy said, "Yeah." He was like, "Well, do you like the guy with the small one doing the girl or the guy with the big one doing the girl?" And the guy said, "I guess the big one." He was like, "Well, you're not that straight, are you?" Well, come to find out later on in the documentary, both these guys apparently were pretty much normal with women. And they kind of became gay to be with Joe for some reason. I don't know if that was for favors or what have you. You know, I don't think, you know, not to get too much on sexuality, I don't think a straight guy.
But they had a
Turns-
double marriage though. The first
They
two,
did have a double
They had a
marriage,
double marriage when he married the Hispanic kid and the white
Travis
guy
and-
with all the
with
tattoos.
yeah.
They had a double marriage, and it seems like was the white dude's name Travis?
Travis was the second one that came.
All right, so the first guy didn't seem as into it to me as
Okay.
as the other dude. And then he goes on and he ends up marrying somebody else who he's married to now. And so,
Yeah,
but the first guy divorced him, so he's still married to two guys.
no. The one guy killed himself, remember?
Oh yeah. The Hispanic kid.
That's what I was going to kind of get into next is
He did, but Joe's name is still Joseph, whatever Maldonado.
whatever.
Passage.
Yeah. So the second husband, Travis or what have you, you know, younger kid, he supposedly was telling guys that he wasn't gay and all this stuff and whatnot, you know, and that's neither here nor there. But he was playing around with a gun in the office, and he accidentally shot himself. He said Rugers don't fire when the mag is not in them. That's not true of all Rugers, and I'm a Ruger guy. There are some Rugers that have the magazine safety on it where you drop the magazine and you can't pull the trigger. I have a Ruger that's not like that. So all of them are not like that. So he was playing around, shot himself in the head. And this guy, Joe, who sings country songs, we're not going to be able to, Joe will take up the whole show, but he sung country songs, and at the guy's funeral, in front of his mother, he started singing a country song about how nice his dead husband's balls were, which I thought was absolutely disgusting. His mother's sitting there grieving, and you do that. And I understand that some people cope with pain with laughter and everything. I get that, but there's still a place for it.
Yeah.
You know, and I just thought that was kind of scummy of him. However, that one song he made about his rival, Carol, who we'll get into a little bit, he made a song called Here Kitty Kitty, because there was a rumor that the lady had killed her.
Not a rumor. She was a suspect. She was legitimately a
Right,
suspect.
but she's never gotten arrested for it.
Right, but it wasn't. So categorizing it as a rumor is less accurate than saying she was a suspect in her husband's disappearance slash
But
not.
there's still a part that's a rumor though, because we don't know if she did what
They
they
don't
were
know
saying
how
she
she
Right.
did it.
So
That's the rumor part.
The rumor was that she fed her husband to one of the cats at her conservation, I guess is what it's supposed to be.
But her sanctuary
Yeah.
rescue Big Cat is because it's Big Cat Rescue Sanctuary.
And Joe kept bringing that up. They had a very heated rivalry because Carol wanted to come after Joe's park because Joe was breeding tigers and
And he allowed
lions and
petting.
bears. Oh my!
And he allowed petting.
Right.
Like, come on, that's a bit
Right, and the funny thing is her history is she had wildcats too that she petted and all that stuff, and then some years later it supposedly changed.
Right.
So
But it doesn't look like it from outward appearances. They look like the same exact type of plant.
It seems like she got jealous maybe of his success and became the reverse. to
Well,
stop
it's
his
almost
success
like
almost.
I need, like WWF needed WCW to survive, right? You need a rival, otherwise you can't be relevant. So she wasn't relevant until she started going after Joe,
Right.
and she didn't fuck with that Bhagavan dude.
No, she sure didn't.
Left his ass smooth alone.
And,
so it was specific to Joe Exotic that she had it out for him and him individually. She didn't fuck with that drug lord either.
No, nobody. And nobody messed with Tony. I don't know what his real name was, but they
apparently,
referred to him as
they
Tony
said he was
Montana.
like,
Yeah, he was putting drugs in the snakes. Apparently.
yeah, that dude was gangster.
Yeah. So, Carol and Joe's rivalry got so bad that Joe actually tried to hire somebody to kill her.
Well, that's the allegation.
The allegation.
I feel like he didn't. I feel like he.
You feel like he was set up?
I feel like he was set up.
Yeah, I do too.
I don't think that he. And the interesting thing is, and if you're watching, sorry, this is going to spoil a little bit. The interesting thing is the dude he supposedly paid the $3,000. There's legit a text message that says he never got the money.
Okay.
Like he was talking to that other dude. It says
Yeah.
he didn't get the money. He never
to
even
Jeff.
went to Florida. Any of that stuff.
Yeah, he said he never went.
And
to
they
Florida.
didn't care about that at the trial. They just totally didn't even bother
Well,
with that.
it seems like they were hot on him anyway for the animal laws anyway.
So, but the thing is, if they never would have been able to charge him with the attempted whatchamacallit, they wouldn't have dug up
The animals.
his place and found that he euthanized 5 tigers. But at the same time, how do you know those tigers weren't sick? That's.
Did he euthanize him, or was he defending
said
himself
euthanize.
at some
No,
point?
he
Because
said-
I'll be honest with you,
He said he euthanized.
Okay. Well, being honest, I could see how having a cat farm or whatever, if a cat attacks me,
Right, you would have to shoot him.
Right.
But he legit he said they were sick. He didn't say it. He said, well, what are you gonna do? You have a sick animal that isn't doing well. Like farmers shoot horses, right?
Yeah.
If your horse is sick, you shoot it. So I don't know, and maybe that just wasn't on the documentary that they didn't bring out that particular part of it. But I don't see him just blasting off Tiger just to be blasting.
No, because he honestly seemed like he did care about the cats. I mean, whether
No,
or
the
not
other
that was
dude-
an act. Who, Baklava?
Yeah, him.
Let's get into Baklavan a little bit. Now, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. This guy seemed more of a magician to me than an actual. I don't know what you would call him.
Well, hold on,
Zookeeper.
but
Okay.
let's go back to Joe for 1 second.
Back to Joe. Okay.
They put Shaq on blast for buying Cubs from.
Oh yeah, I remember Shaq went down there. Yeah.
They legit
He
put
talked
Shaq on.
about it on
Yeah.
NBA, whatever the show is that they
Yeah.
do on TNT. So
They legit put him on blast. But yeah, so the Bhagavan dude was on. I think they showed him on Jay Leno.
yeah, and he used to provide
Letterman.
tigers for movies too. Yeah.
Movies and stuff.
Yeah. Very arrogant guy, in my opinion.
not only arrogant but controlling.
Oh yeah.
He was controlling over the camera crew. Like,
was controlling
I'm gonna
over
go
their
into the
names.
door. You gotta come over here,
Yep.
and that's how we'll start the shop.
Yep, he sure did. He had about, was it 4 or 5 girls? Anyway, he had a number
4.
of girls. 4 girls, okay?
Well, he had 5. The one is the one that told the story.
The story, right? He changed all of their names. They couldn't use their real names for whatever. They all were the workers at the zoo, and it was a 24-hour thing. They
He
really
dresses
didn't
them?
get a break. He dresses them.
Or tells them what they're to wear.
And this guy didn't look like anything special. You know, I don't know how much money he had. You know, sometimes that can play a factor. Didn't look like anything special. Even his younger pictures, you know, he looked more like a rock and roll star to me than an actual, you know what I mean? Somebody who was a yoga master.
You know who he reminded me of?
What's that?
In what's that movie about Bumpy Johnson with Denzel?
Hoodlum.
No.
No, but American Gangster.
American Gangster. So you remember the cop that ended up ODing?
No.
Yeah, remember he was in the house.
bad cop?
Yeah, they had to go get him.
He OD'd. I don't. It's
Well, he had to. Well, they had to go get him because he
You
had
talking
killed.
about Thanos, the guy that plays Thanos.
No.
Oh,
No. The bad cop in the beginning. He was
Brolin,
Russell Crowe's
Josh
partner.
Brolin. Russell Crowe's partner. Oh, the Spanish guy. Yes.
Isn't that what? That's what Bhagwan's younger pictures look like to me.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I can see
That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Guy was very arrogant. Had a big estate, man. He had like 7 houses on there. None of the girls were allowed to live in his house with him. They
It was
all
like
had
80
their own
acres.
houses.
I think he said 75, 80
I
acres.
don't remember the number.
It was somewhere around there.
But guy just came off very arrogant, almost like he was more intelligent than he actually was. It was almost like he was trying to stress the point that he was very intelligent. He was a mentor to Joe as well. Joe had admitted that. I don't know how the Tiger community became so close knit, because wasn't that guy in Florida? Joe was in Oklahoma.
But he bought tigers off of Joe.
Gotcha. Okay. Once again, these people were way too comfortable being around tigers for my liking. I don't even know if I'd be
But he
around
was comfortable around everything. Remember, he took the elephant in the
Chimpanzees,
water
yeah.
and was bathing with the elephant.
Yeah. And he didn't at one point, like how with Joe, he didn't get attacked, but that one tiger kind of was. He didn't get bothered by any animal. It just seems like the animals was like, oh, this is Baklava antler. You
Right.
know what I mean? And they never said his real name, did they? 'Cause
I think they did.
Okay.
It's something Blaine or something. I don't know, but he was arrogant. He was like his name means like the Lord,
the
or
Lord
something,
or something.
or
yeah.
something like that.
And
Like,
then
he chose
switched
that
it, though.
name.
He said somebody said it meant the Lord, and he said it means to follow God or something
Yeah.
like that. Follow the Lord or something.
Right, which is the same thing. You're saying your name is everybody should follow you because, like, mother, I don't know.
And the girls were following him.
He was
The girls-
very strange.
Matter of fact, do you remember seeing any other workers there other than the girls? I don't.
Maybe I don't offhand, but I think they didn't really show a lot of his sanctuary either. They showed him doing like riding up on the elephant.
Yeah.
The girls walking around, and I think it was kind of specific. And I would not be surprised if that was intentional. Like he did not allow them to show
Right.
much more than what they actually were able to show. But yeah, he was. Now he has a rumor. There's a rumor that once the cats are no longer able to be show
Oh,
cats,
he was killing them, right?
he has a gas chamber
Yeah. I
on
remember
his
that now.
on his site, and then he also has his own private crematorium, so you would never see it.
Right. Then you had the Tony Montana guy.
Which they kind of left him alone. They didn't really film
Nah,
too
they
much
didn't
of
do too
anything.
much of him.
They literally just sat and talked to him.
But this guy was very open with what happened to him. He had a zoo. He was stuffing cocaine into snakes or what have you.
And his thing was he was selling drugs for his dad, so
Oh,
he
yeah.
can get the animal.
Yeah, and he said the whole reason he did it was fun buying animals or what have you. he once again he was tied in somehow with Bogdanov, and I think he was tied in with Joe as well. You know, it just seems to be this tight knit community, and every I gotta say this, every one of the people that had tigers in the show seemed like scumbags in some way.
Yeah, they were all shady.
Yeah.
They were all like super shady.
Yeah, it's really one of the most entertaining things I've seen on Netflix since a show called Evil Genius, which we're not going to get into. If you've never seen Evil Genius on Netflix, watch it. It's very entertaining. I don't know if you've seen it or not.
No, I don't.
Yeah, please watch it. It's very entertaining. So anyway, was there another person on there?
There was, but he wasn't really
Those are the
any
main
big
four.
deal. Yeah,
Yeah. There was all type of scandals wrapped in this thing. A guy
everybody
named
was.
Jeff.
Yeah, everybody was setting each other up and doing
Yeah.
like dirty shit to each other.
This guy named Jeff got involved with Joe. Around that time, Joe was trying to run a candidacy for president.
No. So what happened was he got that lawsuit and lost, and he owed them
For,
$1 million. So he was out of money. So he was the Jeff dude was trying to help finance him,
Right.
and that's how. And then once that dude got on, then he tried to do the
Presidential.
He tried to run for president,
Then
then
mayor,
then governor. Yeah.
Then governor. Come to find out, Joe was signing a bunch of checks in Jeff's name, embezzling money, and Jeff and Joe had a fallout. Jeff seemed like a big scumbag too. He had a checkered past.
Checkered president.
Yeah, checkered president. he basically, if I'm not mistaken, he told Joe to try to hire supposedly.
He was on tape saying this is what you have to do. He was on the dude, the big fat dude. He testified that Joe was sitting at his desk, not
When
even
he
paying
said it,
attention,
yeah.
and those two were out in the other room planning the whole thing out.
Right.
Like it was Jeff's computer that they pulled Google Maps up on, and all that stuff. So
And Jeff got no trouble.
that's why I said
No trouble.
it just it seems like Joe did no favors to himself, and I know we said we weren't going to spoil it, but we basically did spoil the whole thing. So sorry.
You
should have watched it.
Hurry up and watch it.
But,
Turn this off. Hurry up and watch it.
You be
Come
all right.
back.
But so Joe did himself no favors, sending her rattlesnakes for her birthday, shooting a dummy of her, blowing the dummy up.
Oh, but that was entertaining, though. Remember, he said to her, I'm sorry to cut you off.
No.
He said to her, is it true you killed your husband? Huh?
Right. I mean, entertaining guy, but
Yeah.
that
Very entertaining guy. Yeah.
did him no favors in court.
No, I didn't.
You can't say, "Oh no, I was just no."
Right.
Dude, that's if you talking about it, like that's the funny thing. That's what I'm gonna get political for 1 second. That's the funny thing. People say when Trump says shit like that, "Oh, he's just joking." All right, go to court and say that.
Right.
Go to court. Let me go say on camera you're gonna kill somebody, and go to court and say, "Oh no, I was just joking." Right. See how that works out for you.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you it ain't gonna work out well.
I agree. What was I going to say?
That Jeff dude, literally, he swindled.
The other guy, Tim.
That dude, but the dude before it, and that's why that dude got mad. And so apparently, this FBI stuff is not over. They're looking more into it. And I'll say
talking
this:
about a season 2.
if I said that this is all out, the last thing I'm gonna say about this: if the FBI spent half as much time investigating that Carol chick about the disappearance of her husband as they did trying to nail Joe for what I feel like wasn't major. This chick didn't disappear the whole dude.
Right.
Like if they spent half the time trying to find out where this dude is, I want to know where this dude is.
Yeah.
His $9 million that this woman cut her kids out of and all that. Like, come on, man. Mm-hmm. They didn't even That and I trying to find.
She's remarried. You know, the guy that she supposedly killed is her second husband.
Yes.
She met him when she got in an argument with her first husband. I think she said she was 20 years old. Supposedly, her first husband had beat her, and that's what she was running away, and that's when.
I don't think it was a beating. I think.
Well, she did say he was abusing her.
Yeah, but that instant, I don't think.
That it happened.
I think she said they had got into an argument. She was walking around the town, and the second husband basically tried to help her out, say, hey, blah, blah, blah. And had to circle 3 times, and then gave her a gun so you can hold the gun on me.
Yeah.
And then went home with him.
Right.
Spent the night with him.
The second and third husbands were significantly older than her. Just remember that pattern. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I don't know what the first husband was because she didn't speak on it.
They showed a picture.
He was older too?
Yeah, he was older. Okay. She was 17, he said. She said.
She seemed like she had a pattern for going for older guys. Now, was that for money? You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm going to get that insurance policy at some time? I don't know. She seemed like a scumbag when she was talking about her husband. There was no emotion.
Yes, there was. So every single time she talked about her husband or the accusations against her, she laughed.
Yes. But there was, okay, so maybe I should have said there was no sadness. Maybe
she
that's what I
laughed.
Yeah.
Everything, like, oh, I fed him to my tiger.
And let me ask you a question, too. What woman who loves her husband would just be satisfied with he just disappeared?
Right. No,
you'd be like, oh, no, I got to find out what's going on.
Right. I have millions of dollars. Let me use all these resources
to find out where he is. She just accepted the fact.
Well, here's where this was her excuse. That he flew to Costa Rica and just never came back.
See, there's a rumor that a drug lord chopped him up.
And she tried to make it like, they said, well, no, because he doesn't even have a license. He couldn't fly. He didn't file any flight reports, blah, blah, blah. And she, again, laughed and said, oh, well, he flew illegally all the time.
Which could be a possibility.
But you don't disappear forever. Never talk to his kids again. Never talk to, just give up $9 million to somebody who he quite obviously didn't want to be with and didn't like. Filed a restraining order on her like 2 weeks before he disappeared. Mm-hmm. That's what I say, man. It's tough on, like, I'm not downplaying domestic violence or abuse with women.
No.
But as a man, it is so much harder for a man when it comes to domestic violence. Like, this dude filed a domestic violence report and tried to get a restraining order, and then 2 weeks was dead. And, I get it. Yeah, I'm sure.
Go.
I'm sure it happens to women too, but that hit me a little bit because I don't care about Delaware's family court being upset, but Delaware's family court is like that. You go in and say, as a man, you're abused, and they're just like, all right, man, whatever, man. Yeah, well, you got to show us. Whereas, I don't think it works that way with women. It's just automatic. But, whatever. Like I said, domestic violence, I don't care whether you're a man or a woman. It's fucked up and wrong, and either way, you're a bitch for doing it. But, yeah, I felt bad that this dude basically cried out for help from the courts. And they were like, nah, sorry about your luck, homie.
Yeah.
He legit was like, yo, she's trying to kill me. She said she was going to kill me.
Yeah, and she had made that clear with a couple people that he was close with, one being his secretary and everything.
She had a .357, I think, and then he said she took my gun.
Mm. Yep. So she had a gun and she took his, and it seemed like he was a little fearful of her.
Why don't you at the very least investigate it? Ma'am, do you have guns in the house? Okay. Do you have his? Mm-hmm. Like, they didn't even bother. It was just like, sorry, dude. You be all right. Go ahead. Go on back home. Mm-hmm. Now this dude is gone.
Yeah. So, very interesting show. my favorite part definitely was the Joe Exotic character and everything he did.
Yeah, I don't think you can make a character like that.